Hi students, I am sure all of you are ready with pen and paper. In this session, we are going to discuss derivatives of inverse trigonometric functions. But before that, let's recall concept of inverse trigonometric functions. We know that trigonometric ratios define functions called trigonometric functions or circular functions. Let's revise range and domain of trigonometric functions. I have summarized them in this table. You observe this table properly. Okay. See, these are trigonometric functions: sine, cos, tan, cot, sec and cosec, their respective domains and ranges. Okay. Now, inverse functions of these trigonometric functions are called inverse trigonometric functions or inverse circular functions. Students, see, domain of sine function is set of real numbers and its range is closed interval -1 to 1. Let's recall graph of the sine function. See, we have graph like this. This is graph of sine function. Here we observe that sine 0 is 0, sine pi is 0, sine 2 pi is also 0, sine of minus pi is 0, sine of minus 2 pi is 0. Also, sine of pi by 2 is 1, sine of minus 3 pi by 2 is 1. On the similar lines, sine of 3 pi by 2 is minus 1, sine of minus pi by 2 is again minus 1. So here we observe that there are infinitely many elements in the domain for which sine function takes the same value. So it is not one function, and this is true for all other trigonometric functions. So no trigonometric function is one, and therefore we arrive at the conclusion that inverse of trigonometric functions do not exist. However, from the graph of these functions, we see that there are some intervals on their domain on which they are 1 and on 2. Students, in the graph, you see this interval, closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Let me show it like this. Okay. So, if we define sine function on this closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 like this, see, sine function from closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 to its range is closed interval -1 to 1. Then it can be verified from the graph that in with this domain and range, this sine function is 1 and on 2, and therefore inverse of sine function exists. That means if we restrict domain to suitable intervals so that they become 1 and on 2 to their ranges, then we can have their inverses. Okay, for the inverse function you can find link in the description. Okay, now see, for this sine function defined like this, we can define its inverse, and it is denoted by sine inverse. See the notation, sine inverse, and its domain set is closed interval -1 to 1, and its range is closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So this closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is the restricted domain of sine function, and for that domain we can define its inverse like this. Okay, and for this sine inverse function, see, we can write sine inverse of x is equal to theta if sine theta is equal to x, and where this x belongs to closed interval -1 to 1 and theta belongs to closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But This closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is not the only interval in which this sine function is 1 1. The other such intervals are, see, closed interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, closed interval minus 3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2, closed interval 3 pi by 2 to 5 pi by 2, etc. You can see these intervals in the graph easily. Okay. So on these intervals also function is 1 1. Hence we can also define inverse sine functions for all such intervals. So corresponding to each such interval we get a branch of inverse sine function. See, like this. Sine inverse from closed interval minus 1 to closed interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 and other etc. branches we can get. Okay. So out of these branches, the branch with the range minus closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is called principal value branch. So when we write sine inverse x is equal to theta, if sine theta is equal to x, this theta is called as principal value of sine inverse of x. So students, this is about the inverse sine function. On the similar lines, you can recall in other inverse trigonometric functions which are denoted by, see, cos inverse of x, tan inverse of x, then sec inverse of x, cosec inverse of x and cot inverse of x. For all these inverse trigonometric functions, students, you have to pay more attention towards their ranges and domains. Okay, you make a table of domain and range of inverse trigonometric functions. Okay, now let's move on to some important properties of inverse trigonometric functions. See, first property, sine inverse of sine theta is equal to theta, cos inverse of cos theta is theta, then tan inverse of tan theta is theta, cot inverse of cot theta is theta, then sec inverse of sec theta is theta, cosec inverse of cosec theta is theta. Then next is sine of sine inverse of x is x, cos of cos inverse of x is x, then tan of tan inverse of x is x, cot of cot inverse of x is x, then sec of sec inverse of x is x, cosec of cosec inverse of x is x. See, all these properties are very easy to remember. You can verify them using some counter example. Okay. Then next property, sine inverse of x is cosec inverse of 1 upon x. Cosec inverse of x, we can write it as sine inverse of 1 upon x. Next, cos inverse of x is sec inverse of 1 upon x. Sec inverse of x is cos inverse of 1 upon x. Then tan inverse of x is cot inverse of 1 upon x. Cot inverse of x is tan inverse of 1 upon x. Then next, see, sine inverse of cos theta, we can write this cos theta term as sine of pi by 2 minus theta. Using allied angles, we know this. We can write cos theta is equal to sine of pi by 2 minus theta. So, using first property, sine inverse of sine theta, see this first property, sine inverse of sine theta, we can write it as theta. So, here using that property, we can write this sine inverse of sine pi by 2 minus theta as pi by 2 minus theta. Okay. So, note that sine inverse of cos theta is pi by 2 minus theta. And on the similar lines, other results are there. See, cos inverse of sine theta, it is pi by 2 minus theta. Tan inverse of cot theta, it is pi by 2 minus theta. Again, cot inverse of tan theta is pi by 2 minus theta. Then sec inverse of cosec theta, we can write it as pi by 2 minus theta. And finally, cosec inverse of sec theta, it is pi by 2 minus theta. Since we can write this sec theta as cosec of pi by 2 minus theta, and using these properties, first properties, we can convert these results to pi by 2 minus theta. Okay. Then next property, see, sin inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is equal to pi by 2. Tan inverse of x plus cot inverse of x is equal to pi by 2. Sec inverse of x plus cosec inverse of x is equal to pi by 2. Then lastly, tan inverse of x plus tan inverse of y is equal to tan inverse of x plus y upon 1 minus xy. You see these signs properly. Okay. And on the similar lines, we have tan inverse of x minus tan inverse of y is equal to tan inverse of x minus y upon 1 plus xy. Students, you recall all these properties properly, since these properties are going to be very useful in solving examples of derivatives of inverse trigonometric functions. Okay. Students, let's move on to next concept. For that, consider y is equal to sine inverse of x. Here, minus 1 is less than equal to x is less than equal to 1, and minus pi by 2 is less than equal to y less than equal to pi by 2. That means here x belongs to closed interval minus 1 to 1, and y belongs to closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay. So, see, whenever y is equal to sine inverse of x, we can write it as x is equal to sine y. Call it as equation number 1. Now, let's differentiate on both sides with respect to y. Okay, so differentiating with respect to y, we get dx by dy is equal to d by dy of sine y. And derivative of sine y with respect to y is cos y. So we have dx by dy is equal to cos y. See, we can write this cos y as plus or minus square root of cos square of y. And we can write using identity cos square y as 1 minus sine square y. Okay, so we have dx by dy is equal to plus minus square root of 1 minus x square. Okay, so I have replaced this sine y from equation 1 with x. Okay, so this is from 1. Now, see, here we observe that cos y is positive since y lies in the first or fourth quadrant, as minus pi by 2 is less than equal to y is less than equal to pi by 2. Okay, since this y lies in the first and fourth quadrant, there cos y is positive. So, out of these two values, we are going to consider it as positive. So, we have dx by dy is equal to root of 1 minus x square. Let's call it as equation number 2. Okay. Now, we know that, see, derivative of y dy by dx, we can write it as 1 upon dx by dy. For this concept of derivative of inverse function, you can find link in the description. Okay. So, from this one equation 2 and 3, we have dy by dx is equal to 1 upon square root of 1 minus x square. Okay. So, here we get one result. Derivative of sine inverse of x is 1 upon square root of 1 minus x square. So, here is the first formula for derivative of inverse trigonometric function. On the similar lines, we can find derivatives of other inverse trigonometric functions. Okay. Students, you prove this result at your own again. Okay. So students, we have proved derivative of sine inverse of x is equal to 1 upon square root of 1 minus x square. On the similar lines, we can find derivative of cos inverse of x as minus 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. See, both these results are easy to remember in pair. Okay. Then next result, derivative of tan inverse of x is equal to 1 upon 1 plus x square. Next, derivative of cot inverse of x is minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. Then derivative of sec inverse of x is 1 upon x into square root of x square minus 1. And lastly, derivative of cosec inverse of x is minus 1 upon x into square root of x square minus 1. Students, here you note that the functions which start with letter C, cos inverse, cot inverse and cosec inverse, these three functions have negative derivatives. Okay, so to avoid jumbling with the signs, you remember these results like this, and you can remember these results in pairs. Okay. And students, you know that formula is king and concept is queen. So you have to remember all these properties and these formulas to solve examples on the derivatives of inverse trigonometric functions. Okay. Students, here we are going to use chain rule again for the derivatives of standard inverse trigonometric composite functions. For example, see, if we have y is equal to, let's consider sine inverse of x cube. Okay. So, see, you can here easily observe that it is inverse trigonometric composite function. So here we have to use chain rule to differentiate this function. So differentiating with respect to x, we have dy by dx is equal to, see, treat this function as sine inverse of something, and we have derivative of sine inverse of x as 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. So using this standard formula, here we can write derivative of sine inverse of something like 1 upon square root of 1 minus something square. See, x is here in this result, x is replaced by this something function x cube, and we have to multiply derivative of this something which is x cube. Okay, so here we have 1 upon square root of 1 minus x raised to 6, this x cube square is x raised to 6, into derivative of x cube is 3x square. And so here we have dy by, see, dy by dx is equal to 3x square upon square root of 1 minus x raised to 6. You study this example, see how the chain rule is used again here. Okay. Let's see one more example. Okay. So consider y is equal to, if we have y is equal to cot inverse of 1 upon x square. Okay. So using the property of cot inverse of 1 upon x, see, we can write this y function as tan inverse of x square. You note this step properly. Okay, we have used property here. Now we have to find derivative dy by dx. So differentiating on both sides, we have dy by dx is equal to, see, treat this function as tan inverse of something, and we have result for tan inverse of x. Derivative of tan inverse of x is 1 upon 1 plus x square. So you treat this function as tan inverse of something. So its derivative is 1 upon 1 plus something square. Okay, something is x square, something square, into derivative of something which is x square. See how chain rule is applied at this step. Okay, now let's find this derivative. Derivative of x square is 2x. So we have 2x upon 1 plus x raised to 4 as the required derivative. Okay. So students, you study properly all the concepts and formulas discussed in this session. We will continue the same topic in the next session. Okay. So let me stop here. Thank you for watching.